All right. Hey, everyone. Lucid, and we're back with this game, the Battle of the Heims. So we have a message here from Helheim. I'll give you a quick update as to what happened last episode. Crazy shit happened. We finally got the showdown between Mekone and Vanheim. And Vanheim got, Mekone got ruined. It was just an absolute abject massacre. It was horrible. So Mekone's basically dead. Now the question is, what's Musphelheim doing? Musphelheim needs to attack Mekone, yet last turn. Yeah, they need to go ahead and get some of those spoils, but they have to be careful because they're attacking Mekone, getting spoils, but they got to be ready for Van Heers. And giants can kill Van Heers. There's good things about being a giant fighting Van Heers. One is you do enough damage to get through their protection once they've done some protection stacking, so that's good. The other good thing about it is you can potentially super combat in them. These Van Heers are definitely super compatible, but they're not super compatible easily. They're very tough to super combatant. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the problem now is that Niflheim and Helheim seem to be trapped in a somewhat Pyrrhic war. Last episode, Helheim popped a Niflheim fort. If Helheim takes it, that's a major advancement for them in this war. If they fail to take it, then if they take a fight and fail, then they're going to lose all their stuff. And I think they're sort of out of the game too. So we'll have to see what happens. So Helheim, the enchanter is mocking me, but I will still not give up. I almost went for the capital last turn, but I resisted my elf impulse. My chill ward caster is moving out. Maybe I get a lucky roll and another 2 water, but I'll likely have to deal with just 1. Musphelheim is spooked by Vanheim demolishing Mekone, so he's going to join fighting the Frost Giants. This is okay for me since it dramatically reduces how long will take for me to get them out of the picture. And then, I don't know, maybe we 2v1 Vanheim or something, or they 2v1 me, or it becomes a free-for-all. I have a feeling they need a 2v1 Vanheim. Yeah. I think this also makes sense. I think Mekone should try to vulture on both ends. I think it's a mistake if he doesn't vulture a lot. Muspelheim should vulture this turn. If they're not vulturing this turn on both sides, I think it's a big mistake. I think it's fine maybe waiting. I think this turn would be late. They should have been doing it probably a bit before. But I can understand them not wanting to stab Mekone before there was a decisive fight, because you really do want Mekone to punch as hard as they can at Vanheim, just because Vanheim is such a scary nation early, and then they're piloted also by a pretty solid player. So all right, so let's take a look. We got a message from Helheim, so we will do Helheim first. So we have a Niflheim battle where they're attacking in Chibia. So this is the fort, and certainly Helheim would have left this. Yeah. They're just jumping around. This was get off my fort. And he brought 5 Nifl Jarls. And then, true to form, Helheim is going to split up and raid and make Niflheim literally hate their life. It's kind of funny because this is the exact thing that I knew would happen, but it's also the exact thing that you have to have enormous balls of steel to go out and counter it. Because the counter to this, I knew this was going to happen, right? He went and raided all over the place. Oh, he only brought 1 group of guys. Shit, he didn't even bring everything. These guys could have come. Okay, he probably should have raided here with these guys to kill elves. But I would have thought more things around here would be attacked. But basically nothing happened in this war, except these guys got knocked off. The elves are just being little fuckers. But Muspelheim's going to move in, so that's good. I don't know why they didn't attack this turn. This seems like a huge unforced error. Oh my god. Speaking of unforced errors, look at this. Do these guys have shock resistance? They don't. Ooh. Going after Springhawks with giants without shock resistance. This qualifies. Unforced error. Somehow they still win, but Jesus Christ, that's scary. So they lost 14 Muspel giants, and then they probably lost a few more in the retreat too. Huge loss. Enormous loss. Also lost the Muspel Jarl. I think the way you do this is either you send a super combatant in first that can, I forget what paths they get. So they have air. So you have this guy going first, and you buff up shock resistance, which is easy to do with an air path. Maybe you buff it up a little bit more. I don't know. This is what I would test. You basically want to send a thug in to kill all the Springhawks. It shouldn't be too terribly hard. All you have to do is get enough shock resistance on them. You might need like construction 1 to forge like a ring of lightning taming or something. And then you just send him in. And with 15 shock resistance, he will basically ignore the Springhawks. And then once those are killed, this fight becomes much easier. What I will also say, though, is these guys are also motherfuckers. 16 damage longbows hurt. So, again, the good thing about sending a Muspel Jarl in is you can do air shield, which helps a lot versus these. If you have a way to get regen on them, it's possible he could kill it. But if nothing else, you're sort of just sacrificing him to wipe out these Springhawks, which certainly would be a lot better than all these losses, because he already lost the Muspel Jarl. Oh well. I mean, I think this is the sort of thing you have to test. Like, it's very hard to know just how damaging 67 Springhawks is going to be on a nation of giants with, with shock vulnerability. So we'll come over here and look. It's also not heat scale, so that also matters. They could have had like a stealthy prophet here or something preaching. I don't think they have any stealthy priests by default, but wait, where are we? Yeah, I don't think there's any stealthy priests by default. These guys certainly aren't stealthy. Yeah. Enormous fumble. They really, like, especially because they might need to use this army to fight the Vanheim. Those giants will be sorely missed, because with Vanheim, it really is kind of like a quantity thing. Yeah. But hopefully they can get a force, like regroup, they get these guys, they get these guys, they get these guys, go sit on top of this fort, take these provinces immediately, like this turn. What throne did they get? They got the throne of bureaucracy. It's kind of shitty. They kind of got bad thrones. Okay. So that's that. Let's take a look at, we already watched the Helheim stuff. There's a battle in Mekone. So Vanheim is going for the killing blow here. They're pinging Mekone's cap. It looks like just PD. There's a battle in Hinwood. There's a battle here. So basically just some Van Jarl raiding. Mekone attacks with these guys to try to kill the Van Jarl. This actually is pretty smart. If the PD wasn't here, I think the Van Jarl might have died. Because I do think if it's just naked, I think a flock of birds can kill a Van Jarl. But I could be wrong. Though it probably can't kill a Van Jarl and two Van Jarls. So especially, this is something you can do reliably, is you just put your guy in the center and he should spawn on top of the PD Van Jarl. And that makes him really hard. Like, then it would never die to, I don't want to say never, but wouldn't die to Blackhawks. Okay. So the Doom stack is moved here. These guys are presumably going to come underwater. And, well, we can see exactly what's here. There's basically a big pile of Peltasts with some Gigante warriors. I think Vanheim has options. I think if I were Vanheim, what I would do is split my army and go here and here, or maybe move the main army here, small raiding detachment over this way. Oh, so here's a good example. I thought I assumed these all won because it was against PD, but there was actually a lot of PD here. And so these guys are going to run in. Probably going to be fine until the arrows are out. And once the arrows are out, this guy's going to lose HP and run. That was really strange behavior from the PD. But anyway, these Van Jarls would not work well against any significant amount of PD, as you can see here. Even when the PD was stupid. It was really weird. It was like a couple guys were in melee, but they hadn't run out of arrows, so they didn't send everybody in melee. They just waited for the guy to run. Okay. So yeah, I think Vanheim has a few moves. They could move here with the main army. I think it's kind of a mistake to split the army, because that's one of the few that's one of the few ways where they could lose the war, is to split. Like if they split 50-50 on either side, and then Mekone made some Jedi play, which, like, who would expect this, right? And they moved their whole stack over here. You know, this is the safe move from Vanheim. The zip up the man suit move from Vanheim is to take everybody and march on the cap. And in that case, if you're Mekone, you just PD dump everything. You have literally every mage from here and here. You have basically everybody move and patrol, and then you have your fight. I don't know what I would be inclined to do. Yeah, I basically, when you're in this position, you're already losing, so it always feels bad picking a losing option. I think what I would be inclined to do as Mekone, knowing who I'm playing. Actually, I have no idea. I'm thinking I know, but then I also don't think I think if Mekone moved everything, every mage, put gems on them, every unit, and PD dumped his capital and had the Gigantes, I think he would win the fight. Like the biggest PD dump he could. Given that, I do think Vanheim would realize that and probably do the safer move. So, yeah. What to do then? It's actually not a strangely stupid move for Mekone to move everything here or everything here. I think this is a less likely place for Vanheim to go. But I think there's a lot of sense that could be made by planning on the major battle being here. The only thing, though, is that so far, Vanheim has mostly been doomstacking and sort of marching into stuff. So it would be like very in character for them to take this army and just go on top of the cap and say, fuck you. But I don't think they're going to do it. I don't know. I think it's almost like 50-50. It's an extremely hard call to make, and I think as Mekone, you just have to pick something. But I think that's it for this turn. So, yeah, let's go take a look at the next turn, which is turn 25. Turn 25. We have a message from Musphelheim. We haven't heard from them in a while. It was about last turn when I saw to my disarray the utter collapse of Mekone in just 2 turns. I expected and depended on him to do more against Vanheim. This fast collapse has crumbled my plans to ruin, and now I don't think I can pull it off. If all proceeds as expected, I predict a good Vanheim will win in about 15 turns. All right, we'll make note of that. 20 maybe, unless he gets cold feet, but Chris is too good a player to slack when blood is in the water. I also need another 5 turns of heavy fighting. 10 would be better, though. I need another 5 turns of heavy fighting? I'm not going to get it. I don't know what that means. 5 turns of heavy fighting? Until heavy fighting? 10 would be better? I guess he just doesn't feel ready to fight Vanheim. But, I mean, he hasn't fought anybody. You should be ready to fight. Like, what if you spawned next to Vanheim? Like, you should have a plan for this. Vanheim's fighting, like, a huge way away from his base of operations. And it's not like they have, like, all this foreign recruit stuff they can just slam down so that, like, as soon as they get new territory, it's making stuff. Like, it's going to have to march all the way from Vanheim down to get to his region. So I think you got to have a plan, buddy, to fight, or you're not going to be winning this. All right, with the message from Musphelheim, we'll see where they're going. It looks like they have rolled out and decided to vulture. So this is good. And the Red Waste. Okay. And he's also attacking Helheim. A very big and scary stack. It's funny, Muspelheim didn't mention anything about the huge losses they took in that throne battle. Because that's certainly something I'm keenly aware of. Oh my god, they went on top. Sorry, I spoiled it. There's a battle in Mekone. Did Mekone ride out? They did not. Did Mekone do the Jedi sort of defense that I was expecting? So he pings one province, takes another one, didn't move anything here. He just kept everybody inside the fort. Man. If Mekone had moved everything out, every single mage, would he have won? Maybe. Be very hard. I think you have to do the final stand here, though. I think you put literally every single drop of gold you have into PD. Mekone doesn't have excellent PD, but has pretty good PD. They get a few of these Gigantes. They get a fair number of the hoplites, which are solid, and then they get the peltasts. So, pretty good. I think, honestly, having a lot of mages with gems and stuff doing different evocation support could potentially swing this. I do think it's at a point though where if they won the fight, they would it just changes like the momentum and pace of the game. I think they're down hard enough where it's like really hard for them to pull themselves like technically back in. But it was sort of, I think, disrespectful a little bit for Vanheim to go on top of the capital. Like, Van Heers are not things that are super vulnerable to PD, but I mean, there were a bunch of Gigante hoplites here, so he did move those inside. But he didn't move in patrol. There's really no value to having an army locked inside Mekone, except to maybe increase the siege defense. So I think he should have wrote out. If the move was to send everybody here, I think you just write out, because next turn there's just going to be a bunch more garbage on top. Okay, so that's how that war's going. Let's see what happened in the Helheim arena. Oh, he finally caught the Master Enchanter. What? Oh my god, look at all those paths. That's crazy. So if anybody wants the Niflheim build, take note. This is it. Wow. Very dangerous and strange use of the god. I have no idea how you keep your god out when you're fighting elves unless you want him to fight elves. And here, he would have gotten roasted in melee. So that was very wild. Valkyries attacking this province. I think we watched that. Okay. So basically no major moves in this war. I think some of this is... It's like if you're not... I mean, there is a way to, like, if you can just pick at somebody, you'll eventually win potentially. You know, they're kind of like grinding into each other and grinding them down. And Helheim's probably coming out on top of the trades, but it's just like... These wars are going at vastly different speeds. Helheim does not seem like they're ready to, like, take a fight and try to win. Okay. I don't know where he must be massing an army. I'm guessing somehow there's a water 2 somewhere around here that's going to join up here and fight on the capital. I don't know where the water 2 is. Presumably it's one of these Jade Maidens or something. Maybe he empowered in water. I have no idea. But I also don't see them. Unless possibly I'm missing something. But we'll have to see. They need, like, a plan to kill these guys. Like, you can't just sit there and poke for forever. I mean, you can. But Niflheim's putting up... Well, they had been putting up enough of a defense where the raiding war was sort of costly. But, yeah, I think they're pretty happy now. Niflheim did a ton of site searching. So that's actually another thing. We'll take a look at the graphs real quick. Helheim is, yeah, #1 in gems. And this is largely thanks to Niflheim having site searched with their god. Which they benefit from almost none, but Helheim's benefiting from a ton now. So that's kind of funny. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know. Where's this army going to go? Presumably this army goes here and then takes this. I think that would be the plan. Go like this and carve out some area for yourself, but they probably have to go here first. There's some really good provinces over here, though. So... Going to be interesting, but they need to close this war down and probably move to the south to deal with Vanheim post-haste. Though they might want to keep something in the region in case Helheim decides to... Yeah, I think this army probably needs to stay in the region in case Helheim turns on them. It's also important for Musphelheim to start thinking about what tech they're going to need to fight these armies. I'm not really an expert on this. My guess is they probably need... Fire elemental spam might work. Like turbo communions or skelly spam communions might help, like with Niffle Giants mixed in them. Something like that could happen or could work. But I think those are the kind of things you're looking like. Maybe some kinds of evocation support might also work, but I think in general you don't really want your giants fighting in them. If you do, you probably want to have like body ethereal and stuff on them. So there are a few targets in there, but I think it's a really tricky, tough matchup. Yeah, so we'll just have to see. But that puts us right at 20 minutes. I think we'll call an episode here. And hope you guys are looking forward to seeing how the rest of this plays out. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.